This is Rebecca with RL Designs. This is number 4 in our video series for beginning sewers in getting to know our sewing machine, how to thread, how to use the bobbin, and how to gather the basic tools that we need. So this video is talking about how to thread the bobbin and how to put it in the machine. So let's head over. As we head over to my machine, you'll notice that this is a brother machine. All machines are different, so the basic threading of a bobbin and threading of the machine are going to be a little bit different in the details. But hopefully this tutorial will give you the confidence that you need to thread your bobbin and to get it correctly installed. First of all, let's talk about what a bobbin is. This little plastic thing is called the bobbin, and this is going to be wound with thread. When it's correctly wound, it's going to be installed in the machine, and it will be responsible for all of the bottom stitches. Let's look at the piece of fabric so that you can see what I mean. Here's a piece of fabric that I've done some quilting on. And you'll notice this is the top of the fabric, and we can notice some of the stitches that come from the top of the fabric. The stitches here were responsible, the thread that is in the top of the machine was responsible for those. But if we flip it over to the back, we can see other stitches, and the bobbin was responsible for these. And as you can tell, the stitches on the bottom look the same as the stitches on the top. The problem really comes in when the tension is off or the bobbin is wound incorrectly and they look different on the top and the bottom. Here's where a bobbin will normally sit in your machine. This is my faceplate with my needle right here. A lot of times the bobbin will lay directly underneath the needle like this. But on some machines that I've used in the past, a lot of Singer machines as well, they will have the bobbin toward the front here, and it will be going perpendicular. So you'll just have to find out from your machine manual how to put the bobbin in correctly and which direction the arrows are going to go. So now let's go ahead. I'll take this one out. That was our white thread. And we're going to wind a black bobbin. So we're going to be sewing today with black thread, so we want black thread in the top and the bottom. So we're going to wind this. If you'll notice in the top of the bobbin there is a hole right there. That's where our thread is going to go. So we're going to put our thread up through the bottom and through the hole with just a little tail on top. And before we do that, let me just show you the top of the machine. Your machine should come with some instructions, both in the manual and actually on the machine. So here we have the bobbin threading instructions. So it's saying that from the thread, it's going to come out and we're going to wrap it around this, which keeps it all straight so that it's going to wind perfectly on the bobbin. And then we're going to go over here and we're going to place the bobbin here on the bobbin winder. So let's go ahead and do that. As we talked about yesterday with our thread, we need to make sure with your machine if the thread is going to come out of the front of the spool or the back. You can tell by the thread here that it's from the front. It's the same way that we have threaded the machine yesterday. We're going to make the thread go in the same direction for winding the bobbin. So mine comes off the front, so we're going to take the thread and we're going to wrap it around, going clockwise around the winder. And now I'm going to need 2 hands, so I'm going to put the camera down to show you how the rest of it is going to go. Alright, so now we're going to take our thread, wrap it around, and we have the end of our thread here. And we're going to take the little hole in the bobbin and we're going to put the thread up through the hole so that there's a little tag right on the top, about that much. So we'll insert it onto the bobbin winder and push it to the right. This mechanism right here holds it all in place so that it will wind evenly. Now you want to make sure your machine is on everything is in there correctly, and we're going to put our foot on the presser foot, and we're just going to wind for 3 or 4 revolutions. Now, at about that point, we stop and we can cut off with our scissors that tail. And now we just start winding, and you'll notice that the thread is going up and down on our bobbin. The only work that I'm doing is keeping my foot down as hard as I can on the presser foot, on the foot pedal. That's all I'm doing. And it's doing everything else by itself. Now when this bobbin is complete, it stops on its own. It's completely full and it's very even. So we'll take it off, separate it from the spool of thread, and there we have our bobbin. So now the only other thing that we have to do is to take our bobbin and put it into our machine. So let me show you how to do that. So now we're going to take our bobbin and put it into the machine. There's going to be a plate that you'll remove. My plate is made of plastic, some are metal. You're going to take that off. And then you'll notice right there are directions for how the thread is supposed to go. So if we look at our bobbin here, we have the thread going around counterclockwise. Do you see that? It's going around this way and it's coming out of the top. If we turned it over, you could tell that the thread is going clockwise, and that's the wrong direction. So when you place it in the machine, you're going to place it so that the thread is going the correct direction. So for mine, we just pop it right in there. Just drop it in. Then we take the excess tail, and if you can tell, there's an arrow along this line. We're going to follow that arrow. We're going to go around, and then it clips off by itself. And now the bobbin is inserted correctly. The only other thing that we have to do is put our bobbin cover back on, and we are now ready to sew from the bottom. At this point is when we would thread the machine as we did yesterday. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial about bobbins. If you have any questions about any tutorials that you'd like to see, please leave a message in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and like RL Designs on Facebook.